One thing that I think is done a lot that I would say is not useful or practical is that a lot of philosophy, even when teaching and a lot of like just thinking is about just it's about what the meaning of life is. That is a question that doesn't actually impact your life as much as you would like to think. What impacts your life and what impacts the things that you do is mostly always what you decide to do with your life. I, I don't know why it's a common thing of if life has meaning or not, if it's through a god, through no god, through like, I don't know, other stuff. Is that really important to your day to day life? Maybe the beliefs are important to your sect or your thing that you're going into, if you want to be part of that community, but it's more so what person you want to become. I think that it's always focusing on the wrong question that we're doing. And it's not something that helps us out. Like it helps us out as people. I think the main thing that we need to focus on is what character do you want to create? Or what was or even with that you could say, what story do you want to lead? But that one is a little bit more bad, I would say, in my opinion, because you cannot really control a lot of external stuff outside yourself. But you could also see it in that way as well. My main thing about this is people never look into what kind of character they want to become. I think it's more so I wake up every day, I do the same things every day, and it's going to work out, and I'm doing the right things. I think it's not about that. It's more so about looking at what you're doing, what you're creating, and how you're going about life to even get to that point that you want to be in. I think, if for in philosophy, you could definitely ask the question of, why do I value what I'm doing? That's a good question because that shows like what you're trying to really get at, what you're trying to really do with everything that you have. And for me, I just think that it's always been like answering this question of if there's any meaning to life. I don't think that's really what shapes our lives. What shapes our lives is what we want to do and what we decide to do, depending on what we want to bring out in our character. Because the people that even have different beliefs in my life, a different way of thinking, it's not about that. It's about what person they want to become. And I don't think a lot of stuff really stops that. You see, a person can believe in Christianity, and I still see them go on to not just become a pastor. Like, not everybody that believes in Christianity becomes a pastor. But wouldn't that be what the thing is calling for? Not all the time. So even within these different religions, different even beliefs, it's not always calling you to do exactly something. It's up to you to decide that. And I think that's just a beautiful thing. And I think it's a thing that we don't talk about enough. Being somebody you want to become, having a character that you would love, and one that you want to have. requires almost all the time a commitment, responsibility. You're being responsible for what you want to try and become. You're adding more commitments to your plate. It's it's draining, I would say. That's one point to look into character you want to become. But I also think it's way more fulfilling to try and do that than to look into all these different books. Like Thus Spoke Zarathustra, like by Friedrich Nietzsche. You look into those things and you're like, yeah, oh my gosh, this is a great piece of art. But what do you do with that? Like, even if you go into meta ethics, you're like, okay, well, let's say I believe that there's objective morality. Okay, so you're still gonna go throughout your same life the same way. But even the same person that believes opposite of you, saying there is no objective morality, will then do what? Be the same person they always have already been. It doesn't mean these different beliefs do not mean it's actually changing who you are. Because if you want to change who you are, those beliefs have nothing. Those beliefs do nothing. I think, no, I know that life is about creating the stage, creating the person, and creating the whole entire character that you want to have. Another idea that I think people do not like doing or like understanding. Well, I do think people understand this, but it's harder to do because it's a commitment. I think the best way to get anywhere in life, the best way to become the character that you want, is through limiting yourself. Human beings are limitless. There's no limit to what we can become. But to become the character that we want, we have to put limits to that. So let's say this: I want to become a very compassionate person. You know what I'll do? Try and understand what people are saying and be there for them. That requires like a constraint, though. That means I had to try to understand what the person's saying. Sometimes I don't want to try. Sometimes I would rather not try. But I'm constraining myself. I make myself commit to a path. That's the hard part. I'm committing to something that even I might even not like. I might not even value it. I'm saying I want to become a compassionate person, but to be honest, why do I want to become a compassionate person? Like, these are good questions to ask, but the question of, is there any meaning? It's a great question to get to. But whenever your first thing is, hey, what should I do with my life? Do something. Is the only thing you need to do. It's like, what should I do with my life? Always just do something. I think the main reason people even like, main people get into suicide and stuff like that is, and going through those type of things, is because we're constantly doing nothing, constantly sitting down doing nothing. Like, it is not normal for us to do nothing. I think that you need to constrain yourself with one thing that you want to do, no matter what. And also, we want self love to a radical degree. I would say self love is a radical. It's like a. It sounds like a weird thing that like a lot of people say that is leads to nothing. But I think loving yourself is the best thing you could do. Because loving yourself and accepting who you are is the first stage of growth. If you want to become that person that you see that everyone wants to love, you gotta accept what you are now. You gotta accept it and think that you deserve more. Think that you are more than that. to limit yourself by saying, hey, just because I'm a little overweight, just because I'm a little ugly or I have a crooked nose, do this, you audio limiting yourself with these beliefs that are not even true. So, in all, I would say, look into what kind of character you want to create. And this is just me, this is me absorbing things. Not me, it's just like saying, do this, do this. Like, I am saying, do this. But it's only if you want to do it. Like, if you are thinking of something to go forward with, you gotta understand why. And meaning doesn't help that. What is the meaning of life and stuff like that? You have been walking and moving before you even thought about what the meaning of life was. Like, what does that matter to you right now? I think about, look at a child. Does a child need to know everything whenever it's moving? Does a child need to know its meaning? Go play outside. It doesn't. These are vital things that I think we're not understanding. Like, first off, look at who you want to become, what you want to show. These are just observations I've made. We are more focused on the biggest picture, but it's not even the biggest picture practically. Practically, the biggest picture is what should you do whenever you wake up. No matter what meaning you find, and no matter what meaning you don't find, life still goes on. You, what, there's nothing that changes that except dying. So, what does it do? What good is it to look into that so much that you don't figure out what to do each day? And as I already said, just put constraints on your character. That's the best way to create a character. Best way to create who you are. You gotta put hey, I wanna do this. I wanna be this. That's a commitment. These are responsibilities. To say, hey, I wanna have a job or something like that. I wanna be productive or something like productive. That is a commitment that makes you have to have responsibility. And you have to be responsible for everything that you do. These are not things that are oh, it's gonna make me feel good. I think it's gonna make you feel bad. I think that's really the things that can help you. Exactly whenever you look into this. The third thing is what's gonna help you, which is radical self-love. I know it sounds like just a topic that you hear everybody say. It's hard to get to them. But you just need to accept your imperfections for what they are. And to know that you're not limited by them. If you're ugly, you're not limited by being ugly. What the hell? You could still do so much even with that. And you're not even trying to see how far you can go. You need to go far. You need to go to these extents. To even say that something is limiting you and you're doing nothing, it's weird. It's weird to think like that. But I think that's just how it is. Because human beings are limitless. We're always going to be limitless. And at the end of the day, we need to put limits upon ourselves. I'll leave you with that. I want to say again, the real question is not what the meaning of life is. It never really was. Because even whenever you're 3 years old, you're still walking, crying, breathing. The meaning of life has no essential value towards how you go through it. The meaning of life It's not the question that you need to ask. The question you need to ask is what you do with it. What you do each and every day. Because even you could do absolutely everything with no meaning and absolutely nothing with all the meaning. It's about what you do every day. What you do. And that's what I think. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna make more videos like this.